Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning. I hope all of you are doing well. So, we had a small technical issue, but now we are all back and live. So, thank you, Suja. Can you hear me well now?
All good, all good. We had to play around with technology, yeah?
Yeah, no, that's okay. So I think our audience will understand that. So I like to thank you for taking time and joining me today on this conversation from ordinary to extraordinary. So, warm welcome to all of you who are joining in this session with Suja Harish. So, Suja, I will just like to give a quick introduction about you. Suja is the founder of Awaken Your Horizon. Is an organization which uh, is in the area of influencing people, inspiring people, guiding people, as well as organization to unlock their potential. She works within the core values of empowerment, integrity, commitment, and innovation. So she focuses on strategic planning, talent management, leadership development, management development, employee engagement, change management, etc. Have a rich history of working with various organizations in the talent space, culture space, learning space in various organizations over the years. I just like to welcome Suja for this session, and we will see the inspirations, the way in which her career transformed over the years. So, Suja, once again, welcome to the program Ordinary to Extraordinary. So, I just have a starting question. So, how will you introduce your work to the audience? I have
So,
given us a quick insight, but maybe just it may help our audience to know more.
absolutely. But thank you so much. I think even before I go ahead and start introducing myself, I would first of all like to thank you for coming up with such a great initiative that helps, reach out to so many people, share great insights. I mean, I've been really following up all these chats, LinkedIn lives that you have, and the people who have actually come and spoken. It's quite insightful, and I am really honored to be part of this. You inviting me to, be a part of this LinkedIn live. A little bit, of course, you have given a little brief about who I am, but um, I come with 16 plus years of experience, absolutely passionate about learning and development. I think it's more about I live, breathe L&D.
Mhm.
Um, chartered fellow, which means that I am a keen HR professional who wishes to bring a positive change to the organization as well as to the employees. An NLP practitioner coach, so I have a little bit of coaching background, and that's where Awaken Your Horizon comes into picture. I support in developing sustainable learning solutions. So I collaborate and work along with various consulting firms and also organizations who provide learning and development solutions. So whole in whole, it's about developing people. So whether it's through learning and development training sessions or coaching or consulting, you can reach out to me.
Thank you, Suja. So I have a question. I'm just curious. We all have some inspirations when we are in our career, some influences. Do you have any stories like that? What inspired you to embark on this journey of uh, discovery and growth, especially from an learning perspective? What are some of the influences which might have shaped your thought process and your journey?
See, I mean, if you speak about inspiration, we live among people who inspire you on a daily basis. But for me, it was more about if I have to really take down the path of learning and development. why I even started Awaken Your Horizon. I would say the only good thing that COVID did was it gave me the visibility and the courage to start Awaken Your Horizon. So I'm just taking you, it's a short little story about what happened with me when COVID hit. So I was one of those individuals who was tested positive for COVID. And I know the kind of stress that, I went through during that period. And I think I lived that moment. I was able to kind of get through the fear of death during that, because it was the new pandemic. Nobody knew how things would turn around, and testing positive was more about seeing death. You know at the back of the mind that you're gonna somehow. But I think when I was able to conquer that fear there, people started reaching out to me, because knowing that I'm a coach, people started reaching out to me with their concerns on an individual basis. And when they reached out, I actually felt that most of them have common kind of concerns. So rather than reaching out to one by one, let me start a common platform where I can reach out to. And that's how Awaken Your Horizon, or Coaching Bits, a channel was created, where I started speaking to people, creating videos and sharing my knowledge and insights about certain topics. And that's how it turned to be Awaken Your Horizon. So that's one of those experiences, or kind of an inspiration that I got, that I need to do something more rather than just doing a 9 to 5, and, creating more impact with people.
Thank you. Yeah, that's interesting. So now I'm going back towards your um, so when I understand that you started with HSBC. Is there someone who have guided you in that process as a mentor, and or when I say guide, means some people whose thought process might have influenced us in this journey. So, for example, uh, from HSBC to the next one, and your experience in coming to UAE. So, what are these shifts which you had um, helped you to understand and uh, bring to a new mindset?
Right. I mean, initially from HSBC, it was more about, fresh out of graduation. All you need to know is that, you can start earning money. And that was the first thought process there. I didn't have a core understanding about, how to go about, and what is a career plan, what are goals. I didn't know anything about it. So definitely I didn't had any guidance then. But I think when I moved from India to Dubai, that is after marriage. I actually came at the very wrong time. That was during crisis,
Hmm.
and it was the recession time. So it was very difficult, and that was one of the challenges that I faced in my career. That I was quite established in India. I was one of the leading positions, and then when I reached Dubai, it was like more about coming back to scratch and create your own existence. So that was definitely one of those challenges that I faced. And for me, I would say my mentors, or people who guided me, were my management most of the time, and friends. So I personally believe, so I have few really best, a lot of people that I keep in my kitty, whom I reach out to at any point of time when I need guidance. That's why I really believe the importance of having a mentor, or somebody who has already achieved that. So I think I've been blessed to have
Hmm.
got such amazing people, whether it's family members, very supportive family, friends who are there to kind of give you critical analysis about things, rather than, saying sweet things and, really not meaning it. So the kind of friends you have, the circle that you have to create, really adds a lot of value in your life. And I think I was blessed all the time, the kind of colleagues or LinkedIn connections that I have. I do reach out, kind of build that relationship. And they have, in one or the other way, inspired, some questions being asked by someone saying, what's unique about you? I mean, when I was venturing into Awaken Your Horizon, starting it as a training, service, one of the questions asked to me by one of my friend was, what's unique about you? Right? So these
Hmm.
kind of questions that really trigger you. So it's essential that you need to have the right kind of people around you who
Hmm.
can mentor or support or coach you to come up with the best.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting, Suja. So one of the reason why we do these sessions with people like you And like, for example, sometimes we may not know when you are in a new journey starting your career, and especially these discussions sometimes bring in new insights for some people. I just remember my own journey into the UAE, where I had a colleague. Uh, he highlighted and introduced me to the platform of LinkedIn, which I was not familiar before, or I was not exposed to. So uh, so I don't want to have the name, but so you mentioned about what are your unique points which you are bringing in. So now when you moved into those different roles which you have had in the past, shaping you to start on your own right now, what are some advices, or again, I will not say some critical inflection points which you might have come across, or someone you have seen doing.
I mean, absolutely. So even before I started, probably when I say I was into learning and development, I did a lot of research even before, jumping into starting my own. I wanted to take a break. I wanted to have, it was more about building that entrepreneur mindset to see how, because it actually gives you that visibility as a 360 rather than being focused on a JD basis. When you're working in an organization under a specific role, you are only bound by that JDs, right? Most of
Hmm.
the time
Hmm.
you do that. But when you step into a role like an entrepreneur, it actually gives you a 360 visibility of what are the things to be done. And I think that was one of those research that I did. I reached out to many people who have already started similar startups, and of course, I think UAE has been so kind to kind of promote these kind of entrepreneur. We have freelance visas now, licenses. So it actually did, everything fell in place. I would say it was more about the research that you need to do even before
Hmm.
you get into. Because right now, I think COVID definitely taught all of us to have a backup plan and not just depend on, one sort of income. So I would just say, as an advice for people, is that please do your homework before you start into anything. It sounds very rosy when you say, "Oh, you're your own boss; you don't have to worry about it." But I think it's way beyond being a boss. It's more about having the responsibility and accountability of the decisions that you're going to take.
Hmm. 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 Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So again, people who are JD is the term used with respect to job description. And moving on, Suja, another aspect which I just want to bring in is you established yourself and you proceeded to pursue CIPD. So, how did you identify CIPD, and what led you to? For example, I just want for audience, Suja completed the fellowship, and she's a chartered fellow of CIPD. So, can you just guide us, for example, for people who are moving into talent space, especially exploring career, what CIPD stands for, and how that adds value as a professional within the human resource and human capital space.
No, absolutely. CIPD as such is like a certified institute for personal development, professional development, and actually helps you get a complete understanding of what HR is. So if you are an HR employee, I mean, just taking a step back, right? When you look at your career, right? There were times when we just used to go with the flow of you getting the income and that's on. But if you have a certain goal identified, then you need to see how you can achieve that goal. So I had created my own personal development plan where I did say what is that I'm trying to achieve. So one of my objective was to move into a leadership role, right, during my career when I was not leading at that time. So one of the goals that I set was that I needed to move into the next level and what is really required. So I did a little research in terms of understanding how these senior management roles look like, right? So you can even research in LinkedIn when jobs get published, what are the skills, competencies that are required. And one of the core requirements that I kept seeing was CIPD. And for any managerial role, you need to have, because CIPD really pushes you to the limit to understand HR as a whole, right? You really understand A to Z of it. You understand how powerful this people profession is, right? It's not about, I think gone were the days when we were called for documentation, right? HR is someone who maintains document. I think it's a old age now, right? So it's more about CIPD gave you the visibility to really see what a people profession is, what kind of analytical roles do you have, and that's how I actually ventured into it. And I think you have absolutely flexible options to get to certain levels. So they have different levels. You can do your assessments, and you can determine what kind of a certification you want to do. So that's how I actually ventured into. So this was more about me understanding, setting up a goal, understanding what am I supposed to achieve, what kind of trainings would I have to take, what kind of certifications would I have to take to move to the next ladder. And that's how I did CIPD. And I think that was one of the best decisions that I had taken, because I think that's how I. It's more about, it has helped me get more business than if I didn't have.
Thank you for sharing that. So I think that is one of the pivotal moments which I think you decided. So was there someone who pushed you for that, or was it your own search and identification in that journey?
Right. See, I do. So for me, it's always important that I get a little bit more. I do a little research. I'm more known for research because I do reach out to different people, get their insights, and have a complete understanding of, any kind of a certification. So if I have to do a CIPD, I know there are people who do SIPs for procurement processes and all. So there are different certifying bodies. So it's essential that you need to do a little research, do your homework in terms of reach out to people who have already done that and see what is the value that is added to their life. So if somebody reaches out to me, ask Suja, I'm going to get certified as a coach. What is the kind of a certification that I need to take, right? Or so it's essential that you reach out to people who have already done that, because they will actually give you the real information whether that certification worked for them or not. So for me, it was more about reaching out to people in the connections itself, saying that you have done it, what value did it add, what are the things that changed after you did the certification. So that was more of the homework that I did when I started for CIPD.
Thank you, Suja. So, yeah, so this is interesting, for the audience who are listening. One aspect which I am taking away is the amount of research which we have to keep on continuously doing, with respect to what track which we have to. Now, when you started your career, was it in the people profession, or was people profession in the sense the HR space, or was it in another domain?
No, it was actually in the banking. So it was more into accounting. It was more into the banking aspect of it. But I think when I took a break, the position of a trainer in HR was the first. It's kind of a breakthrough for me from the usual someone who was lost to someone, and it just came in a fluke because I applied for a job for being an executive in an organization, and they said, oh, we don't have a role for executive, but then we have an opening for trainer and you've got a good communication skills, would you want to try? I said okay. And I think that
Okay.
was that's how things changed, and I completely got into the HR learning and development field.
Okay. That's a shift which prompted you. Okay. So, for example, like, what are your experience like? For example, being stuck in something. Again, I'm not saying on the organization or the context. So sometimes people feel that I'm stuck. What shall I do to move forward? So, is there something of that sort which happened to you?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, if you are, when you say feeling stuck, there are many points where in your career you feel that, what am I doing? Where am I heading to? That is a sign that you are stuck. And the
mm,
first and the foremost thing most of us do, I mean, the reason why I was kind of thinking is I had created a video saying, do you feel stuck in your life? What are the things that you're supposed to do? So I just recollected that. But when it happened to me, there were many points where I did feel that I'm stuck in my career. Things are not moving. It's the same role, monotonous job. Talking about the monetary aspect of it, nothing is moving, and that's feeling stuck, right? And that's when you start need to really reflect, and it takes little courage as well as little understanding as to whom should you be reaching at that point when you feel stuck, right?
mm,
Um,
mm,
and that's when we say the power of having a coach, having a mentor, or some support who can actually guide you, right? For me, speaking to people who have coached me had helped me because they made me realize what is my ikigai or what is the passion that I want to, equal to what is the talent you hold, plus the
mm,
skills and the competencies that you have,
mm,
right?
mm,
And
mm,
looking at what are the options that you can grow. Do you have a specific goal that you want to achieve? Like, do you want to be the top of L&D, or are you interested in looking at more roles in HR? Are you interested in only learning and development, or do you want to look into talent acquisition? So it's more about those kind of discussions, really doing a little bit of homework in terms of do attend certain training courses, or I think LinkedIn has a lot of opportunities there. CIPD for me, I have a lot of courses. So I do attend these courses. And if anything interests me, I would start, looking at working on certain projects that will, help me understand, is this where I need to proceed for? So these
mm.
were few things that I did when I was stuck in life. And that's when, as I said, I wanted to move up the ladder. I felt that I was stuck in the same um, specialist role and I needed to move out. And that's when I said, what can I do to move to the next ladder? That's when I got through to CIPD. And so that's how you kind of move out of when you're stuck.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, quite often, sometimes the point which you highlighted, having a mentor, having a coach who asks that relevant question. So, friends, if you are in search of a coach as well as a mentor, please reach out. And one thing which again, I was introduced to Suja by a friend who I know, and it was when I was searching for someone as a mentor for a specific work where I was involved in. So, and again, Prabhu as well as that good friend. So we got introduced through that network. So the power of networks is one, and second, as you mentioned, the mentors who ask us important questions, which may help us to be reflecting on what can we do differently. Now, moving on to the next question, Suja, is um, you shared some of the practical strategies or habits. Now, one aspect which I just want to when we are sometimes, yes, we have mentor. What inspires you as well as motivate you when you are in that struggling phase to take that different steps?
Um, I'm sorry. So could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sometimes we are stuck. We need inspiration, we need motivation. Sometimes we may not be able to see that soon. Is there a support mechanism? Is there a system which or system in the sense, is there a practice which you follow which help you to come out of that? Because we all are humans, finally, so we have challenging circumstances, struggles for all of us. Is there any specific practices which you do?
I would actually, and I do speak to people and I tell them, journaling has been something that I have done forever. I think from the age of 12, 13, I started journaling. And that is a tool that has helped me reflect. It's more about a self reflection tool, right? And at times that I do, when I have a free time, I do sit and look at all the old journals that I had written. And I can see the kind of achievements that I have got. I can see what are the goals that I didn't achieve, and what is the reason that I didn't achieve. And it's a beautiful tool that when I'm doing trainings and time management, people say that I'm stuck, I don't have time. my first question is that how do you keep a track of it? So
Mm.
journaling has definitely been a tool that helped me to have self-reflection, being more self-aware, saying that where are the things I'm going wrong on? If I have set a goal, why didn't I achieve that goal? Right? Where did I go wrong? The tracker, which helps me see and maintain that, am I on track or am I off track? I mean, every organization that does that, right? In the beginning of the year, you have your objectives. In the mid, they do a check. It's more about, are you on track or off track? So when an organization is doing that for you, what is stopping you from creating one
Doing.
small tracker for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you. Is there any specific question which you use to help you in that journaling process?
I mean, I would actually say if I have achieved the goal, great, what next, right? And if I haven't, where did I go wrong, right?
Mm.
What are the
Mm.
things that I didn't do? So it actually gives you a complete, it's kind of breaking down, the fishbone kind of breaking down every aspect of it and understanding which aspect is where you need to start working on, right? Is
Mm.
it the discipline aspect of it, that you're not keeping up with your promises, or is it that you lack some kind of a knowledge that you're not able to? Was it a lack of opportunity that you didn't get? What can you do more? I mean, touching on that, Phoebe, one of those things that I mean, when I was doing this assessment is when I realized that I lacked visibility in whatever I did at some point in time. I was
Mm.
somebody who used to say that, let my work speak for it. But
Mm.
that was
Mm.
olden days. Now you need to talk about it. You need to be visible. You need to make little noise about what you're doing. Because just like us, we have thousands and millions of talented people out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is essential that you become more visible, reach out to the people, as you rightly said, networking. I mean, I got you through networking. We never connected, we didn't know before, but it's more about the networking aspect. That so it all went back to the journaling, understanding where I'm lacking, and then come kind of making your own strategies to move ahead.
Yeah, thank you. That's interesting. So, audience, again, I'm just rephrasing what she mentioned: keeping track of where you want to go, and seeing which actions we missed, which actions can be corrected. So, the ordinary to extraordinary is a journey where we takes turns. We may have our own areas of as we say, the SWOT. We do SWOT for organization. We don't do SWOT for ourselves. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our opportunities? What are our threats? So thank you for highlighting that. So I'm just having one more question. I'm conscious of the time. Looking back on your journey, what are you most proud of, and what excites you about the future?
I mean, if you would have asked me this question a few years back, I was definitely not great. I was not really proud of. But having kind of overcome the fears that I had, the imposter syndromes that, we all go through, I feel I'm quite proud. When I reflect at the achievements that I've had in the previous organizations that I work with, the kind of programs that I spearhead, and the kind of value it added to the organization, as well as the employees, the kind of employee engagement. I get to hear about good feedback of having worked in a company 3 years back. So people still remember you, which means that you have definitely created some impact. And it's quite reassuring to know that, right? So for me, I'm definitely proud for the little contributions that I've done. I am a lifelong learner, Phoebe. For me, I still know that there's a lot to learn. There's a lot that I get to hear on an everyday basis where I learn from people, right? So I'm definitely proud of what I did. I'm proud that I'm a open to learning kind of a person. I do understand that this journey has helped me kind of take more risks, calculated risks, definitely, and more confident in terms of the kind of contributions that I've been making. I am definitely excited in terms of the kind of new projects that I'm currently working on, the collaborations that I recently had, the people I speak to. And I'm sure there are lots of more interesting things you will definitely get to hear if you are a LinkedIn member, because I will keep posting it on.
Thank you, Suja. And one final question: what have you changed your mind on
In terms of,
in terms of learning? Something. Okay, I was having that thought process in my mind, but now I think that I have came out of that.
oh, um, I mean, that's a very interesting question, because this is another example that I use in my talks with people. My mindset on accepting feedback.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when you have been working in a role and you know in and out, and you know that I'm absolutely right. So it kind of gets stuck in your, mind and heart, that you're right all the time, and you're not really open to feedback, right? But one of it's not a story, but one of the experiences that, if you allow me to share, was working in one of the organizations where one our management used to be very specific with presentations, right? It's not about only the quality, but they were very particular about how the work looks like, rather than what
Mm-hmm.
the content is all about, right? So just like anybody else, initially I was kind of little hesitant, offended, that, why are you talking about the presentation? The presentation doesn't look great, was a feedback. So I could have gone with the mindset of, oh, the person is just criticizing, and can I can crib about it. But I think the only small little thing I did was change the language that I use. I think that was when I finished my NLP, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew the value of the language that we use to ourselves. So I changed the language that I use to myself. So rather than criticizing and getting offended, the only thing that I did is, I said, this person, what happens if this person has given a feedback? What is the reason the person gave me a feedback, right? What is going to change if I take this feedback? I realized that if I take this feedback, my presentations are going to look good, which means my work is going to look good. So I'm going to look good, right? So I started using them as my checkpoints to make my work look good. So that was an absolute change of my mindset, just by using the language. Um, it's more about reframing the language we use to ourselves. And opening to feedback was something that, changed completely.
Thank you. I think with that, I want to bring it to a close, that opening to the feedback. So, ordinary to extraordinary is all about opening to feedback. So, thank you, Suja, for joining me and the audience. And again, to our audience, Suja is part of a program called Rockstar by Melius, where you can get opportunity to interact with her on various aspects of career development, as well as coaching. So please reach out. This is a pro bono work she's doing. I'm also there in that. So nice to be thanking Taz for that initiative. So thank you for joining me, and
Thank
I
you.
hope to see you all with yet another guest in the next episode of Ordinary to Extraordinary.